One way to put
It was especially when they were starting out in the 90s and 20s. Welcome to another episode of Football Theory with your co-hosts Ivan and Guti. Guti, how you doing, my man?
We're here, man. We just finished watching the All-Star game, and Mexico has struck out this summer.
That's right. Football Theory after dark, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The sun's down, the moon's out, the lights are shining, and that's when we're recording. But yeah, LigaMx, MLS All-Star game happened. All-Star week, I guess, happened. 1-1 draw. MLS takes it in PKs. Overall, what was your experience? What were your thoughts of the overall experience of the first MLS LigaMx All-Star combination?
It was cool. I like the skills challenge. Like I said, I like that. I like watching guys out of their little like seriousness and just like, doing the little skills challenges. The crossbar challenge was cool to watch. A lot of familiar faces from LigaMx players that played before. So it's kind of cool to see these guys like get competitive, and it was kind of funny to see Pizarro out there like trying hard, which is very rare sometimes.
Yeah, for me, I thought the game is the game. I think we've talked about it enough that it's a friendly match, and both teams got to play this weekend. Both teams' players, got to play this weekend, and these coaches have to do a good job of balancing the players who they play and all these things. But I'm with you on the All-Star Skills Challenge. I thought it was great. I thought it was really it's what an All-Star kind of thing is supposed to be when it comes to the day before the All-Star game, and I think some teams do that some other leagues do that really well. Hockey is really cool. The NHL, the MLB has the home run derby, and NBA has made it a whole thing. Saturday night, All-Star Saturday night is a big thing. And I thought this MLS one, just kind of fit right in the middle of it, where for me, the home run derby is cool and stuff, but it's just one thing, and it's hard to get different things. So for that, they have all these different cool little things for the All-Star Challenge. I thought it worked really well. I thought it was, you can tell they're having fun. It's low stakes, and it's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it was cool just to see a bunch of names out there. I thought it was a little bit of a kind of like we all know they want to join the league somehow. They want to make that something like a product. I don't think it's sold like they thought it would be. It would sell. I think people are tired of all that. It was a Tuesday night as well. It didn't look filled up at all. I don't know if there was like a restriction. I don't think there was.
No, I think got tickets.
Yeah,
I think
it's a Tuesday night in LA.
And they were struggling to sell games for this game too, the MLS All-Star game. And it's coming off the back, like you said, a very busy summer. There was a lot going on when it comes to just things you could watch and take in. And Tuesday night in LA, as you said, the stadium is by USC. It's a tough place to get in and out of too. So I'm with you on that. It was the ticket sales were pretty low. Yeah,
so like it was cool. It was a good effort. It was something for them to do, I guess. They probably weren't going to be able to get anybody else to fly in. I know it was planned last year as well, but I don't know how they're going to top this, as far as like trying to get people involved, like get the Mexican fan involved, because they could probably bring a team from Mexico just to play them, but this whole All-Star thing is kind of weird anyways, right? People are like, what is this? And you got some guys going hard. Luis Romo like took out somebody, and Pedro Aquino was taking fools out, but they were taking it serious, right? But I like watching guys out of it. The game was kind of more boring, way more boring than the skills challenge for sure, because guys don't know each other. They were subbing every 20 minutes. They're doing rotations. Guys are playing out of position. It's like, how soccer is all about chemistry. So it's like, it was just weird, but I did like the whole effort. I think it'd be cool. People on Twitter are kind of blowing it up, saying how come they didn't piggyback it and do like, NWSL All-Star with the LigaMx, Femenil. That'd be pretty sick. Like the same weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Hey, throw a little celebrity game, 5v5 or something, somewhere in a parking lot or something. That'd be pretty cool to watch. It was cool to watch. I love Jorge Campos, so to see him out there coaching the skills challenge against Kobe Jones, that was some nostalgia for sure.
So you just took, I had a 50-50 asking what other things would you want to see in a MLS All-Star weekend, and you nailed a bunch. You gave some awesome suggestions. I think NWSL Liga Women LigaMx match will definitely happen in the future. I think you're seeing some other things develop in the women's side, and with CONCACAF and stuff. So I think that's definitely on the table.
A little
You know,
5v5. Hey, look, think about a little 5v5 celebrity game, or even a
yeah,
5v5 like veterans. Some veterans.
yeah,
OGs.
5v5. You know, yes, I know like 6v6 plus keepers is kind of popular now, where you kind of play on half of the field with slightly bigger goals in indoor futsal, but just kind of an environment. So there's definitely something with there when you have, you know, you can bring back old timers to coach them too. And, you know, it doesn't have to be Mexican celebrities versus American celebrities. So you can just get any celebrity, you know, that's the.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could do like for celebrities, you could do like, let's say it was in LA, right? So you can get like, you get your Mexican American people that we know, you fucking throw George Lopez in there if you wanted to, whatever. But then like even for like the veterans, people always like watching that. So imagine like old school MLS squad with Echeverri or like El Pibe Valderrama, and then some guys that play in LigaMx from back in the day. That'd be pretty fun to watch. A little veteran.
Here it is. Put them in a skills challenge. Put the OGs in the skill challenge. Mix with some of the guys.
Yeah.
And now you're really cooking too. Because I honestly don't really want to watch a bunch of OGs run around that much for that.
No, but yeah, I know what you're saying. A little mix is cool.
Yeah. But yeah, mix or something like that. But in the skills challenge where they just have to do one specific thing, like drop a dime or get on frame. Now we're cooking with something. So
yeah, you watch Campos in the whatever goalie wars, it'd be cool, man.
Yeah, so I think overall, I thought the floor and the ceiling, I thought the floor could have been really low, and it was, and they delivered on something better than that too. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the future, where they move, where the All-Star game has moved from place to place too. Because I thought for LA it was a really perfect time to bring in LigaMx because of the Mexican population in southern Los Angeles. It makes sense. It'll be interesting to see if they keep it that way if they go to other parts of the country.
But do you think they're gonna like keep it that way, or they're gonna go back to calling like Man U to come play, or you think they're gonna they're trying to keep this like rivalry going?
I think they might try to just keep it going because both leagues seem to have a good relationship, and they see I'm sure MLS will look at the numbers and see how it did with the Mexican audience and with the broadcasting compared to past years. So there's a possibility, I think.
It's just hard to get the guys to like really try hard. You know what I mean? Like I really feel for them. Like I know some of the guys like they forget it's a friendly.
Yeah, it's a friendly. So,
yeah, they forget, but it's like
you also know that's what you're signing up for.
I know, but it's just like I really feel like that. Yeah, we'll see. It'd be cool to keep it going, because that does sell tickets, and if they move it to like maybe Houston or something, they could rotate it to like Phoenix. Just whatever. It should be all right.
LigaMx will want to keep it happening.
Yeah, they want to be part of that show. Yeah, they want to be part of that show.
Because now they can make those jerseys and have something else to sell to. You know what I mean? Just for them, they want to be part of it too, to just keep getting involved. So I can see them definitely trying to make this a regular thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with LigaMx moving forward. But so on a scale of 1 soccer ball, 10 soccer balls, where are you ranking the MLS All-Star half week, midweek?
Shoot. 7.
Including the skills competition and everything.
7. And the skills challenge, the only thing that's taking it to 7. I mean, the game was like, I was trying to watch it. Like, why am I watching this? It was kind of boring.
Yeah, so it's not bad. Yes. I mean, it definitely had potential to be like a 3 or 4, or 2 or 3. So I'm giving it a 6.5.
I mean, for someone like us, for people like us who are LigaMx fans, this is great because I wasn't going to watch the MLS All-Star game versus, Villarreal. I wasn't going to watch that. I know Bayern Munich has come before. They went to Portland, right? Or some other teams have come. I'm not watching that. Like I watched maybe 5 minutes of that, but this one I was like, I want to see this happen. But then I didn't even know some of the players on the Mexican team. Like, who's this dude? Like, I didn't even know a couple of guys. I'm like, who's this? So it's okay. It's cool. 7 is good. We'll see.
Yes. Okay. Well, speaking of LigaMx, we are a third of the way through the league so far. We got 6 games in. Besides, looks like San Luis and Pachuca still have a game left, but everybody else has played 6 matches. We have a Club America as the only team that has one of the 2 teams that have not lost yet. They lead the league with 16 points. You have Monterrey, the other team that hasn't lost, but they're on 6 right now with 9 points. León, Tigres, Toluca all showing up as well. Defending champions Cruz Azul, they're at 6th. Atlas 7th. I mean, Where are you at right now? A third of the way, LigaMx.
Yeah, a third of the way. That's crazy. It went by pretty quick. I think all these changes are gonna kind of obviously. I mean, all these little stops we're gonna have right with these friendlies coming up. I mean, the World Cup qualifiers coming up is gonna mess everything up. But yeah, I mean, Club America's like kind of quietly 16 points. Like, I mean, I know they're winning every game and they're obviously there, but it's like a quiet. It's not like this overwhelming America that they had probably 3 seasons ago. Um, so I mean, I know Solari's like he's doing it right. He got the team in there. He got veterans. They got players like Cordoba coming back, but then he'll contribute here and there. And then Leon like somehow figuring it out without their coach, right? Figuring it out without their old coach, and yeah, it should be cool. It should be cool. I think there's a lot to go. We know they gotta make these changes. Probably like you gotta check back every 2-3 weeks, because it changes so quick. So we'll see. I think you're looking at the bottom of the table. I mean, it's pretty bad out down there. Tijuana, I'm kind of shocked to see them at the bottom. It's been a while since we've been that low.
Tijuana, Juarez, Querétaro, Puebla, who were in the semifinals last season, all without a win. I'm with Club America. They surprised me only because I thought it would be really hard for teams to get out of the gates really well. But for them to rail off 5 wins is very impressive. Them, Atlas as well, have only let up 2 goals so far this season. So when you have that strong back, it makes everything else much easier. You see a little bit more with Atlas than America, where if you're not allowing goals, you're at least not losing. You know what I mean? So they're at least getting points little by little here and there, even though Atlas only has 2 wins. But we'll see. Like you said, you got to check in every couple of weeks or see what happens every couple of weeks, because they're about to hit another break here with the international break. It's going to happen again in October. Yeah. So these points that these teams are gathering, like León and like the America, are huge. And shout out to Pio Herrera. He's got Tigres third too. He's kind of like figured them out little by little, has gotten them after kind of a slow start and step back. He kind of has them right where they want to and doing his thing with them. So in Monterrey's 5th, just right again, another team we thought was going to be right there. They are. So it's interesting for you. Where do you have 2 of the big 4, Guadalajara and Pumas, both struggling. They both only have 1 win so far, 13th and 14th. If you're them, how much longer are you giving the project that they're both going through right now, especially with Jimmy Lozano now free to coach one of those teams? Like, where 2 separate questions, but like kind of you kind of see what I'm saying. You kind of see what I'm saying.
Pumas is I'll give you some feedback. I don't know why I came. Let me see if I can reset my microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No feedback.
Okay.
All right. Going back to that. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, no, with Pumas, Pumas is like a sad show because I don't know what else they can do. I mean, I think these are both 2 teams that are losing their identity. I think the biggest thing Pumas should do is go back to what made them very, very, very good in the 80s and 90s, and having, their academy just bring all these players up. They don't forget they produce some of the best Mexican players of all time. Not to obviously forget about Hugo Sanchez, of course, right? Jorge Campos and a bunch of other guys, right? Luis Garcia. So looking at that, or even Claudio Suarez, right? So Pumas had all these academy players before, and I feel like Pumas does that. They'll bounce back though, in 1 season. They do that. They do 2 bad seasons, and then 1 season they'll go to semifinals, right? It's weird. They're just I don't know how they even pay their bills. I have no idea. I always mess around with my friend, one of my good buddies, a Pumas fan. And it's just funny to see that. But with Chivas, dude, it's a joke. I mean, they're just straight up a joke. I mean, I told you before at the beginning, I wasn't excited at all for this. There's really actually no reason to have Vucetich coaching the team anymore at all. And it's not just him as a coach. It's just the project of the entire club. There's no reason to have him there. It doesn't fit with what's going on. Obviously, there's no progress being shown. And it's Jimmy Lozano is available, and he's a dope candidate for that kind of team. Even Pumas, right? Obviously, he's played for Pumas, so it'd be a great job for him. But I don't think he's a mid-season kind of coach to come in. I mean, he might come in and just shake things up real quick and see what happens. But for Chivas, you'd have to give him like time, and Pumas too. Like if you bring him in halfway through, you're gonna have to say, "Hey, look, we know it's gonna be hard this time, but we'll give you 2-3 seasons to figure it out." And that just doesn't happen in LigaMx no more. It seems like Chivas is just doing a bunch of like, let's see what veteran coaches out there, and let's put them in there. And I don't know who they owe money to or something because they're bringing like all these OGs that don't have really, I don't know, any reason to come to Chivas at their moment in their careers. And like I already heard today that what's his name, Mohamed was going to come to Chivas. Supposedly he's sounding it. It's like I don't want that. I don't want Mohamed because let's say he comes in and does well. He's a 1 season kind of coach for us, maybe 1 or 2 seasons, but that's not going to fix the internal problems that are in Chivas. Coming in or Pumas, coming in and just saying, hey, we're going to go with these youngsters. We're going to like refresh this up. We got to get a coach that's going to come and be methodical about the things they do and not just a figure on the sideline. Tomas Boy, hence Cardoso. I mean, how many big name coaches that Chivas going to bring in have to realize like you don't have to have a big name coach. You got to go with someone that's going to work with the players you got. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the players that Chivas have are more than what they're given. I think when we compare it, we're going to compare it to Pumas. I think they're a more talented team, Chivas. But Wiziticha seems doesn't put them in the right position. I think a lot of it's coaching. He's not putting in the right position. He's not doing the best to get the best out of them. I also think there is a problem with kind of the foundation of Chivas right now with, just kind of part of it might be coaching that he didn't come in somebody and just kind of set discipline over to it, but maybe some of the players need to leave that have the bad vibes. But yeah, with them, I just see there's too much talent for them to be where they are right now. I'm not saying they should be at the top where, we're with the Tigres or America, but they should probably be around kind of tickling with Atlas right now. You know what I mean? So I just think there should be a little more for them. And it's always easier to replace a coach than it is to replace a bunch of players. And the thing is with these long breaks, international breaks, it's a perfect time to fire your coach as well, because then you're getting rid of the coach, and then the new coach has time to at least work with some of the players, incorporate some of the ideas before you bring in some of the other times. So I think if I was any of these head coaches in LigaMx from the bottom half this next week, you're like on your last tail, because it's so easy to find somebody new with these long international breaks coming up.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that's like saving Vucetich is like these random little like results. Like, okay, you got one more week and then he ties. You got one more week and then he wins. Like, nah, bro, stop winning. So it's like that's if you're already thinking about that, it's like, if you're with somebody, like, okay, if she messes up one more time, man, I swear I'm breaking up with her. Like, nah, bro, just break up with her. You gotta move on. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, Vucetich is not the answer. Mohamed to me is not the answer. I think you gotta really like come in and start all over. Every time Chivas has been successful, you can go back into the recent 10 years or even 20 years and look at the coaches that come in. They're not big name coaches. They're not these guys that are bringing this whole like, I don't know, this fame behind them. Even Matias Almeida, when he came to Chivas, I had to Google who he was. I had no idea who that was when they were talking about he's going to come to Chivas. Yeah, he did, play for Ribe. He played for, I know he played the league, Argentina. But as far as like in the world of Mexico, no one knew who Matias Almeida was, and so he comes in and he didn't do so well the first couple rounds, but they gave him a chance to kind of build this whole thing and they just ripped him apart, right? But even before him, other coaches like Eduardo Real, Benjamin Galindo, guys like from, the institution, guys that are, down with the team and know how to play with players that are, just like them, young guys as well. Efrain Flores, I really like when he was coaching Chivas back in the day. When Westerhoff came and, he brought that whole Dutch, mentality and was like recruiting players. And you don't forget, he's the guy that like found Evanelo Medina, Ma Bravo, so like Chivas has to go back to the basics, man, just start over and set up this whole academy thing. I mean, this is like, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense what Amaury Vergara's doing. Like, we know he's rich. We know he's all about the fame. We know he's growing the club as far as like a business, but like, as far as like on the field, I don't know if we had to blame Ricardo Peláez. I don't know who's to blame, but they've got to change like a lot of things, a lot.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll keep a lookout for them, what happens with them, what happens in general. But Yeah, I'm telling you, man, LigaMx Judgment Day is coming quickly with this international
What do they
break.
call that? What
Somebody's
do they
got,
call that? The like NFL, is it like Monday quarterback,
oh,
whatever?
it's oh yeah, yes, I know what you're talking about. It's
Is it Black
man,
Monday? I forgot what the name was, but
Black
it was like
Monday, yeah, yeah, Black Monday, the day after like the last week of the NFL.
yeah, they
Yes,
start
I know
cutting
exactly
fools.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
let's do. Yeah, Black Monday. Yep. All right. Quickly, I don't know how quickly, because I always say quickly, but we always get into these beautiful talks. So I don't know how quickly, but switching to the Mexican national team with international soccer coming up and international soccer in general, the EPL said they will not let the players leave who are on England's quote unquote red list who play for those specific countries. They will not let them leave and play World Cup qualifying for this next cycle, which includes about 60 players from 19 teams. And quite frankly, it just mainly represents South America, a lot of Latin America, a lot of African countries. If you want to read between the lines,
What do they
this
call it?
affects me.
Environmental racism. What do they call that?
Yeah, right. Yes. Not environmental, but I know what you're talking
But you
about.
know, they do have that environmental one where it's like, I don't know, people don't have resources, and based on the resources they got, like for example, like medical care and like infrastructure, but that they have that here in this country. But no, it is like, it's systemic, a lot of
Yeah.
systemic,
I mean, we can get quickly into the fact that Uruguay has one of the lowest percentages, has a lower percentage of COVID of COVID cases than, for example, the United States and specific Tennessee, where the U.S. will be playing the World Cup qualifying game, where they have it through most of Europe. They have better percentages than they do through most of Europe, but they just kind of blacklisted or red listed all of South America. This affects Mexico with Raul Jimenez, who happily has played with Wolves 2 games in a row, started both games, but now he won't be able to play for Mexico. He won't be able to call up. This affects a lot of this pretty much affects all the CONMEBOL teams, and I believe La Liga also jumped on board with this as well, and to CONMEBOL players only. But I mean, what's your overall thought about this, Guti? Because there's a lot of ways, a lot of feelings to take it, a lot of ways to go through it. You know what I mean?
So it was only EPL and La Liga. It wasn't like the French league or anybody else.
So far from what I've said, EPL and
I
then
was
La
wanting to
Liga,
know if like
La
now all of
Liga
a
said,
sudden Messi can go to play for Argentina because he's playing in
uh,
France.
I think La Liga said they'll do the same thing with the CONMEBOL countries. So no, just South America. It's the funniest thing for me was the EPL said they reluctantly, and you want them like a little like wink in there that they reluctantly are going to let their players go or won't let their players play for World Cup qualifying, which I find funny because no country, no club wants to let their players leave and play games that's not there. So for all the reasons, travel, injuries, all these different things. So for the EPL to kind of just say we reluctantly have to inform you guys you can't leave, full of
Yeah.
BS. But I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts about that? Where are we at?
I mean, there's a couple layers to it, but I mean, okay. I mean, obviously they could just. I don't think they're doing this. Obviously, like, okay, these people can't go to this country. I think obviously they're going based off what their country's allowing. There's all kinds of politics involved, but they obviously are saying, look, people can't be traveling back and forth, and it could be associated with their travel restrictions that they have right now based on who's coming from where. Um, so I don't want to believe that they have this like vendetta towards certain countries. That's not it for sure. And obviously it does affect Raul Jimenez. But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, okay, is it the Italian league too? Serie A?
I haven't seen anything from the
Okay.
Italian league.
The reason I asked is I just want to know, like, is it a certain league? I mean, we're talking about, because then like, yeah, it's World Cup qualifiers, right? So FIFA has to step in on this and say, like, look, these players, we want a World Cup that has some of the best players available in the world. And so, the same way you could play your EPL games, you got to find a way for, these guys to be able to travel back and forth. I mean, I understand when they come back that the quarantine, and that was a problem last time. Um, so it is very biased. It is very messed up because now you're saying like, okay, Alfonso Davies can go fly back and play for Canada, and Pulisic can come back and play for USA, but Mexico, any guys you guys have in Europe can't play for you because, you know, the access to, vaccine and the access to medical attention is not developed enough in your country, right? So that your professional soccer players can't fly back to play. I find that kind of obviously wrong, because obviously, like you said, per capita, Uruguay has better rates than the United States. But like it's just one or two guys traveling. I mean, they're not going to stop or slow down the spread of this, virus.
It also just messes up the integrity. You know what I mean? When you for this World Cup qualifying, I mean, these aren't friendlies; these are qualifying. These teams are trying to qualify for the World Cup, and it affects like a country like Brazil when you can look at all the players that Brazil has playing in both Spain and La Liga. It really for CONCACAF. For me, it really sucks for like Jamaica, who made all this effort to get all these dual nationals between Jamaica, all these dual Jamaican English players. Like they came up with a plan. They had this idea to pitch all these players, this idea to play for Jamaica, and now all this work and all this goodwill they built up and this plan they've had in place, now it's kind of get derailed. You know what I mean? Like now they can't. Now half of their roster is going to be missing, and it sucks for them because I think we've talked about in the past with CONCACAF and this octagon coming up, how it looks pretty wide open for some of these spots, with some teams going down in quality and some teams coming up. And Jamaica looked like one of these teams who had a possibility if they got the right results and with some of the players they were going to bring in, that they really could have made a good push to challenge for a World Cup spot. And now they're going to start off on the back foot. And so I think for that, like for me, that's what I think about, like a team like Jamaica like that. It's like so tough.
And it's gonna keep popping up though, because I mean, I know that's weird. Like the European players can't come over. It's obviously not fair because if there was European World Cup qualifiers, they would allow their players to go to other countries and play. I mean, there's no way UEFA's like, no, England can't play Spain. It's like, what? Like they're gonna have to travel to their country, right? So guys are still mixing around. So it's kind of like, we know why they're doing it. I mean, we know what's up. We know it's not fair, but this sport is really not set up to be fair the way it is. FIFA. So I don't know, man. Like you said, Jamaica came to mind right now when you said it too. I was like, man, that is dirty. Jamaica's going to be without some players. Mexico's going to be without fans. So It's going to be a weird round one for sure.
Yeah. And we also, we don't know how long it's going to last. It could go into the October qualifiers and maybe even the November qualifiers. And at that point, you're talking about over half the matches. I mean, if you go into October, you're talking about 6 of the 14 matches. Now that's almost half. That's almost half right there. So
I gotta imagine people are on the phone right now trying to make this rule change. I mean, there's no way like the South American teams are totally affected by it because all their players are in Europe. But like, Mexico, for example, okay, they play against Jamaica. They're gonna be like, well, we can still try to do with whatever we got. But like, you go play USA, and the USA gets to bring, all their players from the same league, the EPL, or same leagues, and then you got guys. No, you can't go, a certain amount of miles south. I don't know.
Yeah, yep. It'll be interesting the way it folds out, but yeah, it's super unfortunate. It's
or you move the Mexico. Hey, you move the Mexico USA game. You move it to LA. You make it a home game, and then you say, "Oh, they're not coming to Mexico; they're flying to US."
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, they want that one.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with it because it's super unfortunate, and I mean, there's definitely reeks of layers of prejudice and underlying past prejudice of other parts of the world that aren't specific to those of England and or Spain. Quickly, any 50-50s for you, Guti?
Okay, this is a good one. Okay, and by the time this comes out, the word will be out. And I guess it's becoming this whole like decision making thing, LeBron kind of status. I'm taking my talents to South Beach, or Kobe did it too. Rest in peace. He did it too in high school. Okay, so Ricardo Pepi, 18-year-old for the FC Dallas. I mentioned it before. There's news there's like Twitter rumors that the U.S. is putting him on the World Cup qualifier roster, but there's also rumors on Twitter that Tata's going to have him on the roster as well, and that's going to be this big surprise tomorrow. Thursday, August 26th. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I can see him declining both and give himself more time. That's also an option for him. It's between picking the two. It's always the safest is to go for the U.S. and because he can always switch back to Mexico. He can always switch to Mexico, not switch back because to switch, it'd have to be the official thing. So I think it's a tough decision. We talked in depth last week about these kind of decisions, and this kid, he's a 19-year-old kid. I think both of these federations decide to make the move to put the pressure on him, but he doesn't necessarily have to take the pressure of it. And I'm going to try to just keep everything we talked about last week. His decision is going to be whatever it is his, and he has the option to pick one or just back out and say no to both at the time. I mean, I can see why both teams are doing it because they both rate him pretty highly. But for him, you got to do what's best for him. Whatever it is, where his heart lies.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be cool to see. I mean, it's gonna be like it's just to me, I like it. We talked about it a lot last episode, but I really do like the fact that the Mexican American player is getting a shot to play for Mexico. I mean, I know like, oh no, but he's not from Mexico. It's like, stop. That's like doesn't make any sense, right? So like, I think for Mexico, in order, just they got to keep that pool open, right? Keep that pool open to players. And if for example, like I don't think Efrain Alvarez is worthy of playing on the Mexican national team. I really don't think he's there. Not on the senior team. I'm sorry. And he's been giving like these calls. And I feel like that does just literally like, or whoever's calling him is really trying to stress the fact that he is like capable of being there. But I can name like, or not right now, but I'm pretty sure we could brainstorm 10 or 20 players that should play instead of him in the LigaMx, guys that are 20, 23, whatever, guys that play in Santos, Atlas, any team, Puebla. And I feel like I don't want it to become this thing where like, let's just call these guys so US doesn't have them. It's like if they're not in the plans for the national team, if they're not in like an action, if you really don't think they're going to be called, for a good amount of their careers, like, one or two World Cup cycles, I really don't see the point of doing it, So I hope that a player like Pepi, I do think he is dope. I really do want him out of all of them. So I do hope that, I hope they do give him a chance. And if he wants to play for Mexico, the doors are open. If he doesn't want to play for Mexico, it's not a big deal because he wasn't playing for them anyways. So whatever.
Yeah, and I'm with you that both federations should not be going after players or try to cut ties these players early on just to have them, just to kind of keep them. Because at the end of the day, these players are still people, and these are decisions that are supposed to mean a lot for them. So I hope both of these federations are doing this because they want the player, and they, having a bigger pool is great, having a bigger pool, but just to cup tie these players, just to kind of just keep them away from the other one. I'm with you on that. That's the stuff I don't want to see from either federation because, I just don't want to see that because I think the representation of who you want to play with, it should be who you want and not because an opportunity came up. But if an opportunity comes up later and you want to take because you feel it's not coming from the other one, then go ahead. But that's more of the players deciding instead of the federations just trying to collect them like they're Pokemon.
Yeah, I do want to know what the heck Tata's telling these guys because it's pretty cool to think. I don't know if it's Tata or Gerardo Torrado. I don't know who it is making these calls, but it's like I would imagine like, okay, if Tata approaches you and Ben Halter approaches you, Tata could probably tell you like, bro, I know this guy, and this guy. So if you come over here, we'll make that call, man. Like you'll go to Europe. I just feel like Tata could convince, if he goes to your living room and talks to you, I just feel like he has a little more weight, but I just want to know who's doing these talks and who's trying to convince these guys to come over. I mean, I think those players, we know where they want to be, but I think they're just probably thinking like, okay, are they trying to cap time me? Are they trying to like do me wrong like that? I mean, US did it to Yarbrough, a young kid that, is a Mexican kid who's been in Mexico his whole life, born and raised. And like they cap tie him and now like no one's calling him. You know what I mean? It's like, dang, dude. So, but we'll see.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. I got 150-50, make it nice and easy. do you have routines? My 50/50 routines. Do you have any routines when you like travel that is there a coffee spot you always hit up? Is there is there a book you always bring? You got any routines for when you travel?
Yeah. So my wife hates it because I always pack all my electronics first. Like the electronics to me are huge before even my toothbrush, but it's like iPad, phones, chargers, AirPods, my laptop. I like having my technology. I feel like it's one of the routines I like to have, that like if I'm traveling, especially in a plane, I like to have those moments where like I can't do anything else but enjoy the technology, like because if I'm at home and I'm on the laptop, I could be doing things, I could be doing stuff around the house or with my son or whatever. For school, I have, do my master's degree. So different things that I could be doing. So it's just like being, kind of like that routine of like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do all this right here. I have a chance to kind of play on my electronics. Yeah, so that's kind of the routine I have. Literally, that's all I really do. I do that, and I pack my stuff and I'm ready to go. And I love I love buying coffee when I'm out of town. And yeah, that's pretty much my routine. That's the biggest thing I do for sure.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, I just do what every Mexican does. I get up 2 hours before. I'm ready. I want to be at the airport 3 hours early. Triple, double check. You know what I mean? I'm at the gate an hour and I'm trying to get into the gate about an hour and a half. Once I'm there, I'm like, whew, I can relax.
Yeah. Try to find the charger, the little chair that has a charger on it.
Yeah,
I don't like I rather like I hate flying. So I do like flying, but I don't like long flights. Does that make sense? Because I've done Europe a couple of times, whatever. But like I like a 1 or 2 hour flight. Everything after that is like, oh my God, sitting in these little seats and the whole process of going to the airport I hate that. That part is a hot mess to me. Like, I don't like the check-in and having to go 2 hours. Like all the time wasted traveling is kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, other than that, once I'm in the plane, I kind of like dreaming that I'm like, I have an important job that I have to go to, like I'm going somewhere, man. I gotta go. I got a meeting somewhere. So that's me.
All right. Well, John, there you have it, people. Big fan of coffees, not fan of long trips,
No.
Electronics, early flights. There you go. That's what you got in this week's episode of Football Theory. Guti, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You did some flexibility for me on a busy day, so I appreciate you. And thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. All right, we'll head out. Thank you, everybody.
It's kind of like,
especially when they were starting out.